welcome back to episode 16 of my F1 2016 Force India career mode, where today we're at the Malaysian Grand Prix, obviously a track that usually was at the start of the season. It was kind of just something I'd almost forgot, the fact that it was actually this far in the season. But still, let's move on into free practice here. As we can see at the start of our track acclimatization lap, obviously we do the track acclimatization and then the qualifying practice up. So obviously just get the track acclimatization in and ready, and as you can see there, we just completely overshoot turn 1. Not really sure what that's all about, really. I knew when looking in the garage, the fact the team was saying that it would progressively get wetter through the session, and that just meant, if you have a look here, obviously the track's starting to get a little bit greasy, and we just can't maintain the pace to actually get the purples for the track acclimatization. So as you can see there, we just absolutely miss it by so much, and that basically just meant that R&D through free practice just couldn't happen. We earned, I think, 5 points from R&D there, where we just got one objective, and that was like use minimal fuel or something, which is a huge shame. That obviously meant that we couldn't get any R&D points. Although we have obviously ceased the R&D, it therefore means even more the fact that we need to keep earning more R&D, so obviously we get that 25% bonus for every R&D point that we do earn, so every 10 we get an extra 2.5 R&D points, and so on and so on. And now trying to move on to the qualifying, our qualifying. We do actually decide to do 2 laps on this session. The first lap we do was on lean mix fuel, just get a bank lap in, and we were about 1 second behind Kimi Räikkönen, who was on pole. So I thought this lap we'd go in with rich mix, and you can see by turn 1 we're already 3/10 up on our previous lap there. But as we can see, coming towards the end of lap 2 here, so you can see we're over 1.5 seconds up on our previous lap here. It's been an absolutely incredible lap. I don't think I really made a single mistake. There might have been a couple of places where I just missed the apex ever so slightly. It was an absolutely beautiful lap there. Very happy with the lap. But as we come towards the line, we go into pole position 1.6 seconds quicker than our previous lap there, I think. And at the end of the session there, we finished 12 thousandths behind Lewis Hamilton. I couldn't believe it when he posted that lap, the fact he did just beat us. We have 4 drivers within 1/10 of a second of each other, which hopefully will mean it is a very exciting race at the top, with 2 Mercedes in the top 3, then Vettel, Verstappen and Ricciardo. Obviously the Red Bulls, this probably isn't a massively strong track for them, obviously with the long straights, but we'll have to wait and see as we move into the Malaysian Grand Prix. Now here we are then, just looking at the tyre strategy. Obviously the team think it is going to be a one-stop race, but if you have a look at the session forecast there, we can see it's raining, then lightning, raining, and then the rain pretty much just stops, which really does make this very interesting to see what's going to happen. It's going to be a very interesting race. The strategy will pretty much decide it. It's not completely around raw pace, as we did get quite lucky where we did put our qualifying lap in, as the track did progressively get worse. So I'd say Hamilton is definitely just the quickest driver here today. But now on our formation lap, obviously just cycling up and down the gears. The team do say the clutch wipe was very good there, but I still just wanted to make sure that we were used to the conditions. Obviously the heavy rain, it is pretty much just the Malaysian kayaking competition here. It's absolutely horrible. There's no way anyone would be in their right mind to drive an F1 car at 190 miles an hour around this circuit. But here we are then, 5 lights, and away we go for the Malaysian Grand Prix. The Hamilton next to us gets an absolutely beautiful initial launch there. Not really sure how he did so well there, but Rosberg behind us, and I think also Verstappen, didn't get a particularly good start, which meant we weren't massively threatened going into turn 1 there, which was very ideal for us. But still, just following on behind Hamilton, obviously don't want to crash into the back of him. Front wing, keeping our front wing is just going to be so crucial here. As we come through turn 2, they get an absolutely beautiful run there. Hamilton gets caught over the curb, so we're going to try and look around the outside of him through turn 3 here. He's going to try and give me the squeeze onto the curb there, just trying to make sure we do fight our ground. And we just get him, he just stays in front of us into the braking zone there. But we're going to try and look for the undercut here. He's just on the inside there. We nearly make contact with him there. He's squeezing us once again, and he's hit our side pod and just crashed straight into the wall. Not really sure what's happened there. We're going to have a look from his point of view, as the yellow flags have come out. So as we can see, just from Hamilton's point of view here, he just misses the apex, going through turn 1 there, tries to adjust that, and as we come through on the outside, he does correct slightly, and then just, I don't know whether he thought we were on the other side of him, but he squeezed us right up to the grass there and nearly gets wiped out by nearly all the other AI coming through there. And that has meant Hamilton is basically out of this Grand Prix there, and that's very good, as he is one of our championship rivals at the moment. So that is very, very strong for us. But now, as we can see at midway round lap 4 there, we have pulled out that second advantage over Nico Rosberg behind us. And now the safety car has been deployed as well. I'm not sure whether that's just by how bad the conditions are here. This was about the stage of the race where it was actually meant to be lightning. So obviously the FIA just decided it was too dangerous to race normally. No red flags on this game if I'm not mistaken. But that has meant that obviously we have managed to keep our advantage in the lead of the Grand Prix there, as the safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap. And we have decided that we are going to bunch up the whole field absolutely entirely here. Just going to try and get everyone so grouped together. Now my main idea behind this was the fact that Rosberg at the moment is running away with the championship. But in these wet conditions, Verstappen and his Red Bull should actually have a very, very strong car. So I was thinking, if I can back Rosberg up into these guys, if I nail the start and get like half-second advantage by the end of, the start of lap 8 there, Rosberg could be under a lot of pressure from the guys behind him. But as you can see, just how much we are bunching the cars up at 50 miles an hour there, but we're going to slow it down to about 30 miles an hour here. You just see everyone is right behind us and ready to go. Rosberg is going to be getting so annoyed based on how cold his tyres were getting as well. Also, another reason why I decided to bunch at the field was the fact that Perez, my teammate, obviously was miles behind. He was running around at like P19 or something. So I thought if I can back him up, if I can back everyone up, so he might be able to get a chance to get some points. But here we are then, yellow flags, no overtaking, get ready to resume racing. And we're just going to stomp on the throttle coming out the corner there. Rosberg completely unaware of what we were doing there. As you can see there, we've already just absolutely ran away from him there. Couldn't have asked for much better at the start. Obviously, just need to make sure we nail this final corner, as the green flags are about to come out as well. But we have absolutely stomped on Rosberg coming out that safety car period there. We're going to have a look what the gap is coming across the line. When we look behind us, we can't even see him anymore in the spray. And he's over 2 seconds behind us after that safety car start. And that was an incredible start for ourselves there. Couldn't really ask for much better. As we can see now on lap 12, that 2.5 second lead we had pretty much has just faded away, where Rosberg and the Red Bulls just have so much better pace around here. This car just really isn't built as well as those cars for the rainy conditions. So we've been put under a lot of stress from the guys behind us. Rosberg obviously looking like to try and regain the race lead. As we run hugely wide there through turn 14, I think that is. And Rosberg's just going to absolutely squeeze there and crash into us. So we've had a collision with both Mercedes this Grand Prix. And I'm not really sure what Rosberg was doing there, but we're going to have a look on the replay to see what has happened there from Rosberg's point of view. As it does seem to be that both Mercedes are pretty much now out of this Grand Prix. As you can see, there's us running hugely wide ahead of him. And Rosberg here just doesn't decide that he's even going to try and adjust his line to try and avoid this, because obviously we're not going to go off the track on the other side, and obviously that corner is a very, very horrible corner. As you can see, just in slow motion, Rosberg there just doesn't adjust his line, spins off our side pod, and then just pretty much parks it down the inside. Decides that the inside of this corner is a pretty good place for a picnic there. Wouldn't really recommend that Rosberg, as now we've got Verstappen and Ricciardo behind us. But that basically means that both Mercedes are pretty much outside the running for this Grand Prix. But now moving on to lap 13, this is pretty much the stage of the Grand Prix where the track we were starting to see a dry line form. So obviously it was a good time to come on into the inters. I was pretty certain that I think it was Vettel had come into the intermediate tyres just beforehand, and he'd set a very, very strong lap there. As we can see, just coming into the pits, we have no idea where the pit limiter line is. So we've lost so much time to Daniel Ricciardo behind us. He's gained about 3 seconds coming into the pit lane there, so I was not very happy with that. Really should have learned where the pit lane speed limiter line was. As we can see, coming into our pit box now, moving on to the intermediate tyres, and we're not getting to go. We've been held up behind Daniel Ricciardo, so he has managed to jump us in the pits, and that was all just because we didn't know where the pit lane limiter was. But it's good to see the fact as well that he's gone onto the intermediate tyres. You don't really want to risk being on different set of tyres like in these changing conditions to the AI. But Sergio Perez has come to the pits as well. Verstappen and Ricciardo decided to double stop there, so it was obviously the right lap to make a pit stop. As you can see, coming through that turn 2 there, Ricciardo's just going to absolutely block us off, make a little bit of contact with him, but we're going to try and go round the outside through turn 3 like we did to Hamilton on lap 1. Ricciardo's just going to squeeze us onto the grass there. We're somehow going to be able to hold the car going in the right direction there, as we get all over the curbs so many times. Not really sure how you managed to do that in the heavy rain conditions, but we hold P2 in the Malaysian Grand Prix. But now, as we can see at the end of lap 19, Ricciardo has made about a 3-4 second lead on us there, just in these intermediate conditions, the Red Bull is just so much stronger than the Force India. But we've managed to go purple there, so obviously the pace isn't too poor from ourselves. As you can see now on lap 21, we had been informed that our teammate Perez had come into the pits, so we decided to do the same thing. Now at this point of the Grand Prix, I would just like to explain, I was adamant that Perez had done a very, very quick lap on his set of tyres, and I obviously just assumed the fact that he would have done that on a set of dry tyres, so I decided to come into the pits for the dry tyres here, and thinking that obviously that should be very, very good for ourselves, and that we could potentially catch Ricciardo up, obviously if these dry tyres are a lot better for us. But as you can see, Ricciardo stayed on the intermediate tyres there, just on the top left-hand side, and we've now gone on to a set of the soft tyres for the final 6 laps of the Grand Prix. And honestly, at this stage of the race, I thought my race was completely over. Not really sure how well the track would fare with this set of soft tyres, as we've seen in free practice just how little grip we did seem to have on the dry tyres, even when the track was just a little bit greasy. So we're now on a different strategy to the AI here, hoping that potentially somehow the track would dry up quick enough for us. And as you can see at the end of lap 22, running horribly, horribly wide, but Ricciardo has come back into the pits. So he's made his second pit stop in 2 laps. As you can see at the top left side of the screen, we've gone purple through the final sector, and Verstappen as well is going to move on to a set of medium tyres, and I think Ricciardo's going to do the same. So Ricciardo's just lost out on the lead of the Grand Prix. He's made 2 stops in the last 2 laps, as Verstappen's managed to jump in as well. Ricciardo's still in a very, very strong 3rd place though. But that has pretty much meant that we are now in a very, very commanding position to win the Malaysia Grand Prix here. Obviously don't want to speak too soon, but as you can see now on lap 28, coming through to the final corner of the Grand Prix, on our set of soft tyres, we really thought the tyres would just not make it to the end there. It was very much a tyre strangling final stint there. But we are going to come through to win the Malaysian Grand Prix. It was such an incredible race, so much tyre gambling and things. We accidentally won this Grand Prix by going on a wrong set of tyres, and that won us the race. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. VJ Malia is absolutely ecstatic once again, as it did prove the car is quick through any sort of conditions there. Obviously got incredibly lucky with the strategy. But anyway guys, I'm going to leave you now with the points. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more F1 2016 content. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.
Stay true to me. I've been told that you can make the mold of what you want to be. So stay true to me. I've been told that you can make the mold of what you want to be. So stay true to me. This ain't not for me. What do you want from me?